Greetings, grade 12. Welcome back to the new year of learning life science. I'm going to go through the topics that you're going to study for the whole course of life science. So basically, we are going to have 9 topics: the DNA, the code of life, meiosis, reproduction in vertebrates, human reproduction, genetics and inheritance, responding to the environment, that is humans, then endocrine system and homeostasis in humans, responding to the environment, that is plants, and then evolution. So these are the topics that you're going to study for your grade 12 course. All right, so I'm just going to go through with the papers, the layout of your papers that you're going to write in your final exam, the layout of your papers that you're going to write in your final exam. Then we'll just go through each topic and the exam guideline, what exactly you are supposed to answer and what exactly you are supposed to know on each and every topic. So we'll start with our paper 1. We have paper 1 here, paper 1 and paper 2. Both the papers are out of 150. Both the papers are out of 150. So term 1, these are the topics that you're going to learn in term 1, and these are the topics that you're going to find in paper 1. So in paper 1, if reproduction in vertebrates, this is a small topic that is going to give us a total of 8 marks. So it's going to give us a total of 8 marks. Then we move on to human reproduction. That is a weighting of 27%, and it is marks, that is 41 marks for human reproduction. Then we move on to responding to the environment. This topic we will do it in term 2. Responding to the environment, basically we'll be focusing on human, and it is 54 marks. 54 marks. Then we move on to responding to the environment, that is focusing on plants. That is 13 marks. 13 marks and has a weighting of 9%. Then we move on to the last part, which is endocrine and homeostasis. That's humans. Let's give a total of 34 marks to give us 150 marks. So these are the topics that you find in paper 1 on your final term. So which means you're going to learn reproduction in vertebrates, term 1, human reproduction, term 1, then term 2, responding to the environment in plants, then endocrine and homeostasis, that is term 2 and 3. Then we move on to paper 2. Paper 2, we also have the topics that we are having. We also have the topics that we're having in paper 2. So we have the first topic that we have is DNA, the code of life. We are going to learn this in term 1. So we have DNA, the code of life, which is going to give us a marks of 27. We have 27 on DNA, the code of life. We have 27 marks there. Then we also learn meiosis. This is term 1 again, which is 21 marks. We move on to genetics and inheritance. That is 48 marks. Then lastly, we have evolution, which is 54 marks. So basically, we are saying that in term 1, we are going to learn code of life, meiosis, reproduction in vertebrates, and human reproduction. Then we also have genetics and inheritance, which can overlap to term 2. Then move on to responding to the environment, that is humans. Then term 3, responding to the environment, that is plants. And then also we have homeostasis in humans. Then lastly, we have evolution. So this is the setup of the topics that you're going to learn. This is the setup of your past exam paper. This is the setup of your past exam paper, right? So we are going to go through the topic DNA. We are going to go through the topic DNA to see what exactly are we going to learn on DNA, the code of life. Of course, on our next lesson, we are going to explain further what exactly is DNA. What exactly are you supposed to know in DNA, the code of life? And to find out some examples and past exam papers that we are going to work it out. And also we're going to do the revision on topic test. We're going to go through a topic test, revise and show you how exactly we are supposed to answer that type of questions that you will be given. Right, okay. So now we move on to the first topic that we'll be doing. This is in paper 2. You find this paper in paper 2. But basically, this is the topic that you start with this term. So on introduction, you will be talking about, first, you will revise the structure of the cell, okay? You need to know the structure of the cell, and you'll be emphasizing on a ribosome, cytoplasm, and parts of the nucleus. So this is just a revision. This is just a revision. So you need to know about the cytoplasm. You'll find it. You need to know about the cytoplasm. Right, you need to know about the cytoplasm. And then ribosome and nucleus. Then you need to identify the two types of the nucleic acid, the two types of the nucleic acid. So basically we have DNA and RNA. So this is what you're going to focus on. Then you move on now to look at the DNA location. You need to know the location, the structure and function. Where is DNA located? We also have what we call extranucleus DNA. So we are going to explain all this and then follow next lesson. So we are also going to focus on brief history of the discovery of DNA molecules. We have these scientists, Watson, Crick, Franklin, and Wilkins. Then we move on to the structure of the DNA, the natural shape of the DNA molecule. Then each strand of the helix is made up of sequence of DNA nucleotides. You're supposed to know all that. Then you need to know that the three components of DNA nucleotide, the nitrogenous bases linked by weak hydrogen bonds. You should know that the nitrogenous bases are linked by weak hydrogen bonds. You should know the 4 nitrogenous base of DNA. You should also know the pairing of bases in the DNA, right? So ATG, AT, and GC, right? So we're having adenine, thymine, then we're saying guanine goes with cytosine, okay? All right, so these are the things that we are going to talk about in our next lesson, okay? So we move on to have, you are going to have diagrams, the diagrams to illustrate the DNA molecule. You are going to have questions on functions of DNA molecule. You are going to identify and describe the DNA, the process of DNA replication. You should know where the process happens. You should know how DNA replication takes place. Names, you should know how DNA replication takes place. Of course, the names of enzymes are not required here. So you should be able to know how DNA replication takes place. And you are not including the names of enzymes here. Then you move on to DNA profiling. You should be able to interpret the DNA profile. You should be able to know where DNA profiling is used, right? Then after that, you move on to the process of protein synthesis. You move on to the process of protein synthesis. The process of protein synthesis. So you should talk about the involvement of DNA, RNA in protein synthesis, transcription. You should explain the process of transcription, and also you should be able to differentiate between transcription and DNA replication. So let's return our next lesson and we'll explain fully about DNA, the code of life. That will also dip into questions, and then we explain, we answer the questions, we find out examples from past exam papers, we answer them, then we'll move on to the topic test for the code of life. We answer that topic test. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos. All the best. You're going to do it this year. Just focus. Know that you can do it. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching.